Before this Supreme Court ruling, a licensed gun owner in Hawaii could leave home with a valid concealed carry permit and still walk into a legal trap before lunch. Not because he threatened anyone, not because he pulled out a gun, not because he walked into a courthouse, a school, or a government building, but because he stopped at ordinary places, a gas station, a restaurant, a coffee shop, a grocery store, a drugstore, a hotel lobby. Under Hawaii's old rule, a private business could be open to the public. The door could be unlocked. Customers could be walking in and out. The business could be taking money from the public. But a licensed concealed carry holder still could not carry there unless the owner had already given permission. Not silent permission, not implied permission, not "we are open." The law required what the Supreme Court called express authorization. That meant Hawaii's default rule was no carry unless the owner says yes first. And that is why gun owners have searched the same questions for years. Can I carry a gun in a restaurant? Can I carry in Walmart? Can I carry in a gas station? Can I carry in a hotel? If there is no gun sign on the door, does that mean I can legally carry inside? On June 25, 2026, the Supreme Court answered a major part of that question. The case is Wolford versus Lopez, docket number 24-1046, and the ruling was 6-3. Here is the exact ruling from the court. Hawaii's law prohibiting licensed concealed carry permit holders from carrying handguns on private property open to the public without the property owner's express authorization violates the Second and 14th Amendments. That is the ruling. That is the legal change. But to understand what changed, you need to understand the old rule the court rejected. The court said Hawaii's law departs sharply from the standard common law rule on access to private property held open to the public. Then the court explained that normal rule. Everyone, including those lawfully carrying firearms, may enter unless expressly prohibited from doing so. That is the key. Normally, if a business opens its doors to the public can enter unless the owner says no. A store is private property, but it is open to customers. A restaurant is private property, but it is open to diners. A gas station is private property, but it is open to drivers. Hawaii flipped that rule for licensed gun owners. Instead of saying, "You may enter unless firearms are banned," Hawaii said, "You may not enter unless firearms are allowed first." That is why critics called it the vampire rule, because like the old vampire story, the gun owner had to be invited in. The Supreme Court said that went too far, and the opinion did not treat this like a small technical rule. The court said permit holders could be blocked from places people visit in daily life: gas stations, restaurants, coffee shops, drugstores, grocery stores, big box stores, dry cleaners, and laundromats. Then the court used one of its strongest lines. This regime hobbles what the Second Amendment protects, the right of Americans to carry arms for self-defense as they go about their daily lives. And then the court said, "We hold that the law is unconstitutional." So what changed? The government can no longer use Hawaii's permission-first rule to make ordinary private property open to the public off-limits to licensed concealed carry holders by default. Before this ruling, Hawaii's rule was, no carry unless the owner says yes. After this ruling, that government-imposed default is unconstitutional. That is the carry law change. But here is the part gun owners cannot misunderstand. The court did not say every restaurant must allow firearms. The court did not say every store policy disappears. The court did not say private property owners lose control over their property. The court did not erase posted signs. The court did not erase alcohol-related restrictions. And the court did not erase state-by-state carry laws. The ruling changed what the government can make illegal by default. It did not turn every private business into a place where guns must be accepted. So when gun owners ask, "Can I carry in a restaurant now?" the answer is not just yes or no. The better answer is, the state cannot use Hawaii's permission-first default to ban carry in every public-facing restaurant unless the owner first says yes. But you still have to check your state law. You still have to check whether alcohol rules apply. You still have to check signs. You still have to respect a business policy. And if management tells you to leave, leave calmly. Same with Walmart. Same with gas stations. Same with hotels. This ruling protects against a government default rule that treated carry as banned unless permission came first. But it does not protect a gun owner who ignores a lawful sign, refuses to leave, or turns a property dispute into a police call. That is the line. And that line matters, because a gun owner can win at the Supreme Court and still lose in real life by misunderstanding what the court said. So the clean takeaway from Woolford versus Lopez is this. The Supreme Court changed carry law by striking down Hawaii's permission-first rule for licensed carry on private property open to the public. The old default was, no carry unless the owner says yes. The new constitutional limit is, the government cannot impose that default on ordinary public-facing private businesses. That is what changed. That is what gun owners won. But it is not a carry anywhere ruling. It is not permission to ignore signs. It is not permission to argue with staff. It is not permission to skip state law. So yes, gun owners should pay attention. June 25, 2026 matters. Woolford versus Lopez matters. The Supreme Court just changed carry law. But before you carry into a restaurant, a store, a gas station, or a hotel, understand exactly what changed and what did not. If you also want to know which 29 states allow permitless carry, I already made a full video breaking down that list and the mistake gun owners must avoid in those states. Watch that next, because carry law is changing fast, and one wrong assumption can still put you in trouble. This video is for legal information and legal awareness only. It is not legal advice. Gun laws change by state, location, and facts. If you have a real legal question, speak with a licensed attorney in your state.